Republican Party Chairman Jim Walsh here for our weekly Chairman's Update. Merry Christmas. Christmas is coming. We won't do another one of these before then. And Happy New Year, as that one lies ahead too. It's been an interesting year. I've been the state party chair here for really just about a quarter of it. But we've had a great time so far at the end of this year, and we've been very active on a lot of fronts, as you know, involving election integrity, involving effective participation in campaigns, involving messaging and narrative control, involving the initiatives that are coming next year and will be a major part of public policy here in Washington. But over the last day or so, I've been just inundated with questions about a court ruling out of the state of Colorado. The Colorado State Supreme Court issued a ruling yesterday that would potentially restrict Donald Trump from being included on the Colorado presidential primary election ballot. Now, we're in Washington. I'm the chair of the Washington State Republican Party. What do we have to do with a decision out of Colorado? Well, people in Washington are interested in certainly asking me what this means, with some concern that this kind of court decision might try to be replicated in other places. So last night I read the Colorado State Supreme Court opinion. It's 220 pages or so long. About 150 of it is the majority opinion, and then about 70 pages are dissenting opinions. The total of the opinion, it was a 4-3 split among the judges on the Colorado Supreme Court for ruling that there was enough law in Colorado state law to trigger a constitutional language in the U.S. Constitution, specifically around the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. And within that, particularly one subsection of that 14th Amendment, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. And the four judges said there was enough interplay between Colorado's election law and the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution that they thought there was reason to say that Donald Trump could not be included on their presidential primary ballot. Now, their ruling applies directly only to the primary in Colorado, not the general election. And what the majority, the four-judge majority, said was the 14th Amendment, which was an amendment to the U.S. Constitution passed after the Civil War during the Reconstruction period, and was really designed to talk about how officials who'd been in the Confederacy and had waged war against the United States could or could not hold office in the United States after the Civil War was over and the country was unified again. So it's some real complicated logic. The majority, even the four-judge majority in Colorado, acknowledged that it's kind of complicated and not a strong argument. It's kind of an attenuated argument. And the three judges who didn't agree, who wrote dissenting opinions, actually wrote much tighter and stronger dissents, saying that the four-judge majority was out of their depth to reach the conclusions they did. And the dissenters, the minority, said that among the things that 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution talks about is that it applies primarily to people who have been convicted or at least charged with specific crimes related to a civil war and insurrection and other things. And of course, Donald Trump, while there have been accusations, he's been convicted of nothing in these regards. And when the U.S. Congress and the U.S. Senate looked at an impeachment, he was not convicted then either. So it doesn't really see how the standards set by the 14th Amendment would apply. But that was the three-judge minority. The majority said they thought there was enough to make a connection between Colorado law and the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment. So But even the majority in Colorado acknowledged that really the U.S. Supreme Court needs to step in and clarify the question. And there may be various holds on applying the Colorado court's ruling until the U.S. Supreme Court steps in and clears up the matter. So I expect that very quickly, either the Trump campaign or probably the Republican National Committee, the National Republican Party, will ask the U.S. Supreme Court to step in and clear up this confusion. The logic of the Colorado court is really convoluted, in my opinion. If you followed the logic that they were using, someone in Washington could try to claim that Bob Ferguson, the state attorney general here in Washington, could be taken off the ballot if he runs for governor because of trouble and reprimands he's had from courts about cases that he's tried, the Value Village case and the case involving the mistreatment of a disabled person who was a resident in a state facility. And I'm not advocating he would do that. I'm saying that that's sort of weak logic and doesn't really work very well. So I don't think that the Colorado court's opinion is going to really carry very far. I suspect the U.S. Supreme Court is going to get involved quickly and clear it up and probably say that the majority in Colorado was wrong. But let's step back from Colorado. Let's step back from this decision. Let's step back from Donald Trump. The real question is, how do we get more people involved in the democratic process here in Washington and all around the country? Court decisions taking people off the ballot, that's moving in the opposite direction. What here in Washington we want is more people active and engaged in the democratic process. And that starts in a few weeks. That starts here in Washington on January 13th, 2024, when the Republican caucuses, the local caucuses are happening in the counties and legislative districts all around the state. So if you want to get involved, if you want more people participating, go to WSRP.org, our website, and you can get information on locations for the caucuses. They're open to anyone who's willing to say that they're a Republican. Come to the caucuses and participate. Get involved. You can talk about who you like for president, but we're talking a lot here about who we like for governor, who we want to see in Congress. We're talking about the initiatives that we support. We're talking about legislative races. So many things to talk about, so many things to get involved in. Let's get more people involved in our democratic processes, not cutting people out and getting fewer people involved. That's it for this week. Have a happy new year. It's been a great year here so far, and it's going to be a great 2024. I look forward to talking to you in the new year. Be well. Happy New Year.